Good morning and welcome back to the vlog. It is officially week 5 of half marathon training, which is just every week. I know I say this, guys. I know I say it's mind-blowing, but it's actually mind-blowing. The end of last week, my long run felt so much better than like my tempo run earlier that week, than my recovery run. I don't know what happens between the first speed run and the long run at the end of the week, but it's always like I start off really rough and then by the long run I'm just like loving it. I don't know how to describe it, but anyways, this week we're gonna hit 6 miles, which is just so insane. This week I am getting my life organized again. It's been pretty crazy around here, outside of work, at work, all the things. So I thought that I would share with you guys how I kind of do, I think life audit is a little intense for what I'll be doing, but just kind of reorganizing, getting my routines back together, back online. That's what we'll be getting into this week in the weekly vlog, is training, getting our together, and more training. We are on week 5 of half marathon training. This week I'm pretty excited about the lineup. Our first run, I'll put it up here like I normally do. Our first run is going to be, it looks like short intervals this time. So 6 sets of 300 meters at an 8:30 to an 8:45 mile pace, followed by 90 seconds of walking. And we're ramping up our recovery runs from 2.5 miles to 3 miles this week, and that'll be at a nice slow steady 11:30 to 12:30 pace. Our second speed run will be a fartlek, so it'll be 5 sets of 2 minutes at a 9 to 9:30 mile pace, followed by a 2-minute jog. And then our long run, I'm sure you can guess it by now, is 6 miles. It seems like we're just tacking on a mile or a half mile every single week, but it looks like in a few weeks we're gonna have like what I would call in lifting world as a deload week. I don't know if that's the right term in the running world, but it goes like 6 miles, 7 miles, and then week 8 we'll drop down to 5. So we're gonna have a little deload or recovery week. I don't know what you call it in that space. Those will be our workouts for the week. And then of course our yoga, we're gonna sprinkle that in there too. I got 1 day of yoga in last week. I still have not hit my goal of 4 runs, 3 lifts, and 2 yoga days, but I feel it. It's gonna happen soon. You guys, oh my gosh, I went to put water into the iron, and I said, wow, why does this smell so good? Because I grabbed the wrong cup. I grabbed the cup with electrolytes instead of the cup with water, and I think I have to buy a new iron now. I don't know. We absolutely have to get a new iron. Oh no. Something that I haven't shared with you guys yet is one of my biggest passions that goes back to when I was a little kid, and that is art. That is painting, that is expressing myself through art. It's pretty much my biggest passion outside of fitness and wellness. So I'm gonna just do a little time lapse of the current piece that I'm working on. It's in my latest collection, Look Up Child, and the concept is all these different silhouettes all have something that we collectively can look up to as if we're kids and see clearly again, because the world makes us want to see things in black and white because it's more simple that way. But we're human beings and we have so many intricacies and so many little quirks, and that's what makes us so beautiful. You enjoy a little bit of random painting as well in these vlogs, because I aim to just be my most authentic self, and this is a huge part of not just my healing journey, but my expression in the world. I am out on a walk today, just a good 20-minute walk. I got my monthly friend today, and so I decided to put training on a pause for today, but I should feel good enough tomorrow to resume. Girls that run and train on their first day, props to you. That is not an option for this girl and this baddie. I tell you what, it's been really interesting learning how to adjust my training yet still hit my goals around my different cycles. I feel like for the most part, ever since I started exercising more, my moods have been a lot more stable and everything in my cycle has been a lot more healthy, which feels really nice. So things are more moderate versus how they used to be. So if you're a girl and you need motivation to start working out more, I tell you what, that's my biggest motivator, is not the more I work out, but the more dedicated I am to a consistent routine with working out, the better my cycle goes with my mood, my food cravings, like all the things. So I highly recommend, but just taking a nice little nature walk today because my body deserves movement, so does my mind, even though it hurts a little bit, but we're doing it anyway, so take care of yourself, y'all. We are going to attempt push-ups again after this workout. I'm not sure how it'll go. Last time I think I got 2 in like a regular push-up, and then I did the rest on like a knee push-up. So we'll see where we're at today. Let's talk about how I get everything organized in life when things are feeling chaotic. This is a habit that I really try to do every single weekend, but sometimes life happens and we've all been there. So first off, I want to share that I find it really, really, really important for everyone to find what works for you, because unfortunately, we all work in really unique ways, and I think that's really important. But I have found that there's like 3 ruling principles or themes that I've seen, you know, like productivity gurus share, and like all the keynotes I've listened to, all of those things, because Side note, I'm like such a nerd when it comes to productivity and mental health and all of those things. So throughout like my research and my experiences and my observations, you know, this is kind of what I've found. If it's helpful for you, obviously take what resonates and leave what does not. One of my favorite sayings since I went through my yoga instructor program is, this is a way and not the way. One of my teachers said that, and it's just really stuck with me, not only when I'm on the mat but off the mat in life. Just to explore and to be curious about how you work is the best way to evolve with your life. So anyways, the first thing that I like to highlight on is energy mapping. Take 2 to like 4 weeks and just observe how you're feeling throughout the day and throughout the week, because then you can figure out what type of tasks you can do at different times of the day and execute it the best way and to the best of your ability and feel good while you're doing it. So that's number 1. Number 2 is time blocking. I think time blocking is so important depending on the nature of your work. This can be really impactful. I personally work really well in 60-minute time blocks. Some people are 45, some people are an hour and 30 minutes, find whatever works for you. But the point of time blocking is to work in your deep state work or deep flow state, whatever you want to call it, for that on period, and then having like 10, 15, 20 minutes of a break after that. 20 minutes for me is not very realistic with what I do. It's a very high-paced environment, but if that works for you, amazing. I'm usually like a 5 to 10 minute break kind of girl. But anyway, so you have your on time and your break time. This is also really great for when I show you guys how I organize my tasks for the week. And then the third item, which was honestly the hardest thing for me to implement, because I'm personally a very task oriented person, so I like to do a lot of things at 100%, which is just not realistic. So what I do is I follow the laws or the rule of 3. We've kind of been conditioned throughout life, fun little fact, to see things in 3. So we have the 3 little pigs. A story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So you can kind of see how this theme comes up in life often. 3 strikes, you're out. I mean, there's so many examples. So when you're looking at your year, when you're looking at the quarter, if you're looking at the month, the week, and the day, try to pick the 3 most impactful things that will push your needle forward and also make you feel really good about what you accomplished that day, because we are always overloaded with so many demands, and sometimes it's hard to feel good even if we check off everything on our to-do list. So those are like the 3 golden rules. So energy mapping, time blocking, and the rule of 3, and implementing those things into your life. Regardless of who you are, I'm sure in some way, shape, or form, those will impact how you explore your version of productivity and getting organized. So with that out of the way, the first thing that I always do is a classic brain dump. If you don't know what a brain dump is, pretty much you just take everything that's up here and you put it on a piece of paper in a very unorganized way. Just literally set a timer for like 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and just let it all out on a piece of paper. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll be right back to share the next step. All right, we have everything that I am expecting to come up this week. Of course, things will come up, but this is just a great way to map out what you know is coming. So now that I have my full list, I am going to flip the page and we're going to transfer it on to another page. I know transferring feels like we just wrote it out, what are we doing? But I promise this helps, because the third phase is, I'm sorry, transferring it one more time, but I promise it's worth it every single week. So now what we're going to do is we're going to break the piece of paper into quadrants. So I'll just draw a line from the top to the bottom and from the left to the right, so you can see simple quadrants. Quadrant number 1 is going to be our appointments and our meetings. So we're going to transfer items like that from our brain dump into that quadrant. Also, depending on the type of work that you do, for me, well, not only work, but also your training. If it's routine items that you know are coming up that are technically, like, I call them appointments or meetings because I know I have to do them. They happen on a routine basis. I'll throw this in there too. So my training will go there, regular reports that I have to go out will go there, and then of course my actual meetings and my appointments. So that's quadrant number 1. So let's do that. Okay, quadrant number 2 are going to be our tasks. So for me, this is anything 30 minutes and shorter, just because, like I said, I work in time blocks of 60 minutes. So I feel like a task could be half of that or shorter.
together. So I'm going to transfer everything that I think will take that amount of time into my tasks quadrant. The next two quadrants on the bottom are going to be our short-term and long-term projects. So short-term projects, like I said, have to fit within that 60-minute block that I like to work in. And then long-term projects are things that will take longer than that. And now when you're writing your long-term list, or long-term project list, make sure you leave a gap in between each item, because you're going to then go back in and break it down into tinier bite-sized pieces, kind of like what I was talking about last week in training. When I'm having a really tough training session, I just like to hyper focus on what I'm doing. For long-term projects, it's the same way. If I think too far out, I get overwhelmed with all the things that I have to do. So I break them down into little pieces so they are cute and tiny and approachable and less intimidating, so I don't procrastinate things. So I'm going to transfer everything into my quadrants. Amazing, everything's into the quadrants, so that is what I do in my blank journal. Now that everything's there, and I also want to say I love using a pen and a piece of paper. I know you can use a notes app. I know there's like a bajillion different like AI tools and apps that you can use nowadays, which is great if that works for you. But for me, this makes it really real, and it really feels like I'm taking it from up here in this chaos and putting it down on a piece of paper, especially if you have a lot of different priorities that are pulling at your time. So for me, this just gets it out of my head so I can have a little bit of peace and quiet up there. The last step is I'll take my brain dump and I'll transfer it into my actual planner. So my planner does have a little time block, or a timetable, I guess you'd call it. So I can actually draw little blocks of time that will be work time, meeting time, break time. This is the way that I set myself up for success and organize myself. I know it feels like a lot of steps if you've never done something like this before, but if you can make it a habit, I promise you that 15 minutes at the beginning of the week to set up your week is going to save you so much time and so much frustration. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, if you've ever tried these methods, if you like these methods, if you have completely different methods, and how it works for you. If we can be more productive, it means that we're working less and have more leisure time to take care of ourselves and do the things that we love most. So I'm a huge fan of it. But anyways, I've probably chitter-chattered way too much for this, but hopefully this helps you back to the normal training program, I promise. The worst part after a run is when you come home and you have nowhere to sit because you're so sweaty. So you must sit on the ground. I don't know if anyone else does this, but I just need like a couple minutes to collect myself. But maybe most people go straight to the shower so they can just like get it over with and then sit down and relax. But like the funniest part about running in the summertime is just like, you're so sweaty. It is Saturday evening and we're getting a beautiful storm. We spent the day up in Austin, which was really nice. I got my run in this morning, and tomorrow will be my long run, so doing 6 miles. But I'm thinking I'll close out the video now, just enjoy the storm, enjoy the evening. Like always, thank you guys so much for watching and engaging with the videos and finding me on other social media platforms. It's been so cool meeting all of you. I just honestly can't believe it 99% of the time. It doesn't feel real, so I really appreciate your support. So like, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!